Hello, my name is TJ Kosen. This is my ethnographic presentation on empowerment. The working title is High Expectations for Honor Students. My disabilities left me feeling powerless in school. Growing up with speech apraxia, along with being hard of hearing, made people I interact with, my peers, even old teachers of mine, kind of just give up understanding me, or I give up asking them to read themselves because I didn't hear them. They lowered the expectations for me and just didn't let me feel like I was capable of growth. I often wonder how the average student, diagnosed disabled or not, could find empowerment in themselves sooner, if they could just understand their own potential. I came to my observations looking around for how the host teacher enabled empowerment, whether that was letting the students speak or ask their own questions, make their own decisions, and yes, there was some of that, but I was surprised at how much high expectations also empowered students. Building a community of excellence is the mission statement of the school I observed at. I did my observations October 2nd, 9th, 15th, 23rd, 30th, and November 6th. Each day I was there for 5 to 6 hours, basically the whole school day. My host teacher, who I would call Mr. Michael, had 3 blocks, each a grade 9 honors English class, with the fourth block being a planning block where I could ask him questions. I got there each day around 8:30 before the students came into class. I took this time to ask Mr. Michael's question about what the students were working on and helped him rearrange the classroom if needed. Each block had 26 to 28 students, with probably 90% of the students being white, but was split evenly between male and female students. The classroom had colorful posters, a TV, whiteboards where Mr. Michael wrote what the students were doing for the day, along with upcoming due dates. The desks had detached chairs and could be easily moved around to facilitate group work. At the front of the classroom was a table with extra school supplies, a filing system where absent students pick up their work, along with several posters detailing emergency protocols, behavioral expectations, and fire evacuation routes. I jotted notes on a legal pad, which I then transcribed into a digital format for submission, writing opinions, reflections, and questions in margins, and then collecting documents, either maps or worksheets. I tried to frame opinions as questions and only recorded what students were doing for the day. Noted student-teacher interactions and digressions from traditional lectures or expected classroom routines. The student-teacher interactions I observed, whether it was one-on-one as a personal request or amongst the whole class during lectures, were mostly positive. During free time before class, as students were walking in, Mr. Michael asked how they are doing, maybe even following up on personal conversations from previous class. Mr. Michael was also very open to questions and grade changes and was generally flexible with homework and deadlines, but he also knew when students weren't putting in the effort. There was one instance when one female student comes up and tells Mr. Michael she didn't understand the homework. Mr. Michael told her it was just okay, and then it was just practice. But once she walked away, he told me in private that what she said was just an excuse because she didn't want to finish it. And they're working on content for a while now, and that she should know how to do it if she's an honor student. Mr. Michael reminds students often that they're honor students for a reason, that they have high expectations and that they are more than capable of meeting them. Another thing Mr. Michael did, and did it often, was telling personal students between regular routines, and most of the time relevant to the content of the class. Whether it's about his old job or about trick or treating, he was the center of attention and he used our power dynamic well to get students to stay engaged. But it also highlights how Mr. Michael isn't just an authority figure, but someone who's actively trying to get the students involved and care about what they are doing. These high school age children can sense that authenticity and trust the teacher more because of it. It's from a mutual respect. Mr. Michael expects students to be mature and capable, so they don't need to be lied to. Maybe because he was a majority white, English speaking, middle class suburban school, or because Mr. Michael simply hadn't been exposed to ideas like this, but culturally sustaining or relevant pedagogies weren't really present. Of course, I don't really know the background of students, if they have any families new to the US culture. All I know is that the literature that they were exposed to, at least what I observed, felt irrelevant to them. There was a story about pig wrestling used in comprehension assessment. There was a few assignments with writing prompts that could have been more open-ended to reduce bias, like the one I did for my artifact analysis. There were examples of different rhetorical aspects, advertisements, video clips that were outdated, even for me, that I could tell the students just didn't care about. Another facet of this is that this is an English class. Students are being assessed on grammar, and even though I started observations when they were finishing up with grammar, I can safely say that students made to follow mainstream English rules. Therefore, multilingualism was non-existent in the class. English was used exclusively by the teacher and students. The ideas of student choice, responsibility, collaboration with group work, and open-ended projects are the only things I saw in my observation that one could argue embodied CSP. But just taking what Mr. Michael was already doing, making it more open-ended, and allowing students to share their lived experiences, that's where identity and belonging can become critical to the content. The main takeaway from my observation is that the importance of being genuine. Students are people too, and they appreciate the good rapport. How teachers respond, whether it's smiling and saying it's okay to an obvious excuse, or by ignoring minor behaviors to keep the rest of the class on track, reflects how they are balancing student accountability with pragmatism. In my observations, I'm from recording service level routines to analyzing deeper dynamics of relationships. As a future teacher, I aim to be inclusive to other languages, set high expectations for my students, and create genuine interactions, all to empower my students to remind that they have potential.